What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to the FIFA 19 career mode transfer budgets. In this video I will show you guys all the career mode transfer budgets for the Premier League, the Championship, the League 1 and League 2 and also the Scottish Premier League and also Ireland, the Republic of Ireland transfer budget as well, because I'm sure that many of you guys want to see the transfer budgets of all English teams. So let me know what else do you want to see on FIFA 19. I will bring you more content later today. So if you are excited for the FIFA 19 season, make sure to smash the like button. Let's get this video to 500 likes with your help. And also the Journey series, the new Journey series on FIFA 19 will start on my channel later today, and I will be uploading another Liverpool career mode episode, so lots of fresh content coming your way. And Arsenal actually have 110 million in the transfer budget, which is more than my favorite club Liverpool's transfer budget, which is 94 million. I'm not sure if Arsenal should have more money than Liverpool, but they are probably one of the richest clubs in the world, so I can understand why they have such a massive transfer budget. And actually choosing Arsenal in career mode could be a fun series, because I think they need some major rebuilding. Their strike force is brilliant with Lacazette and Aubameyang, but I think midfield and defense needs the reinforcements, and 110 million you definitely can strengthen Arsenal if you choose to them on a career mode. The next team is Bournemouth. They have a 41 million transfer budget. I think that's kind of realistic, and what is also quite remarkable is they have low expectations for everything in the board expectations. So if you want to do a road to glory longer career mode, I think Bournemouth is a good choice, because you don't have to even finish in the top half of the table probably in the first season just to avoid relegation. Brighton is actually another very interesting choice. They only have 28 million in the transfer budget, but they have a beautiful stadium. The Amex Stadium is, I think, really lovely, and of course they have quite low expectations for a club like them, so they could be another good option for a road to glory career mode. Burnley actually have more transfer budget than Brighton. I'm actually a little bit surprised. 39 million, but I guess that's because Burnley finished 7th last season and qualified for the Europa League, so maybe their transfer budget is higher because of that. Cardiff City, one of the newly promoted sides, only 28 million transfer budget. That's still quite a decent amount of money, but I think this could be a really challenging career mode, because they are actually one of the lowest rated teams, 3.5 star. They are probably the lowest rated team in the Premier League. So if you want a really challenging road to glory and start in the Premier League, probably Cardiff is a good choice. Chelsea have a similar transfer budget to Arsenal, 112 million pounds, and their club worth is 2.1 million, which is absolutely massive as well, more than Arsenal's club worth by a little bit. So very big challenge, very big transfer budget, but they want probably a Premier League title. Their domestic success and continental success is critical, but you are starting in the Europa League with Chelsea. Of course you can put Chelsea in the Champions League if you want to, if you start a career mode with them. Crystal Palace, 42 million, a decent mid-range transfer budget, and they have some really good players, Crystal Palace, so they could be a fun team to play career mode with. My plans for FIFA 19, at first I will do a Liverpool career mode, and then maybe later on during the season I will do other clubs. I want to do a Bundesliga career mode, definitely want to do a La Liga career mode with the new licenses in La Liga, and having all the stadiums except Nou Camp in La Liga. The Everton, only 56 million transfer budget. I think EA messed this up, because they spent close to 100 million pounds now 2 seasons in a row in the transfer window. So I think their transfer budget should be about 65-70 million at least. But if you sell some of the Everton players, you can you can bump that transfer budget up, and they have a very high domestic success. They have high domestic success board expectations, so I think choosing Everton could be also a fun career mode team if you want to do so. Fulham, 39 million transfer budget. Interestingly, Fulham has a lot higher transfer budget than teams like Brighton and Cardiff, and that's realistic because Fulham in real life spent £100 million in the transfer window. They have a lot of very talented young players. Ryan Sessegnon, the standout, and the Craven Cottage, one of the iconic, very small stadiums in the Premier League. I really love that ground. It's very tight, close to the fans are really close to the pitch. So I'm thinking about doing either a Fulham or a Wolverhampton career mode later on during the season. Huddersfield is another team with quite low transfer budget, and that's realistic. They are probably the club that spent the least amount of money, maybe alongside Cardiff City, and they don't have a very strong team. 4 stars on FIFA. 30 million is their transfer budget, so this could be another like fun road to glory team that you could choose. Leicester City, 48 million transfer budget, and of course the big challenge could be a Leicester City career mode. Can you win the Premier League again with Leicester City spending just 48 million? That could be a really fun career mode to do. So I can certainly understand why some people choose Leicester City. Liverpool, my beloved Liverpool, 94 million transfer budget. It's kind of realistic. In real life, Liverpool spent a lot more than that, 175 million, but because we got 140 million for Coutinho, we probably spent the majority of that money as well this summer. So kind of realistic that Liverpool have 94 million transfer budget in the summer, and I'm just really looking forward to the Liverpool career mode. The first episode is already up on my channel, so make sure to watch it. Manchester City have one of the highest transfer budget in the entire game, FIFA 19, 168 million, and they already have an incredible team. So I'm not sure what can you do with Manchester City. Maybe sign a better left back or a better defensive midfielder, but really Man City already have a stacked team. So if you really want to play just with the best players on FIFA 19, Manchester City is definitely the club to go with. Manchester United, 166 million transfer budget. This is also understandable because Man United is probably one of the top 3 richest clubs in the world, alongside, you know, Real Madrid and Man City and maybe Paris Saint-Germain in that bracket as well. So 166 million transfer budget, and I think Man United have quite a lot of issues that needs to be fixed. So if you are a fan of Man United, or if you just want to you know, fix what Mourinho is doing wrong, maybe in your opinion, Man United career mode could be experienced. Newcastle United, 30 million transfer budget. I understand why they got that, because in real life Mike Ashley is just refusing to spend any money on Newcastle United. They have a similar amount of money as Brighton and Cardiff, the lowest, some of the lowest transfer budgets. Southampton, 39 million. I think Southampton lost so many of their quality players, and they will struggle and fight against relegation again, and I think this club deserves better. And with your help, if you want to, you can revive them, and I think that they can challenge for a European place if they would keep some of their talented players and maybe add 1 or 2. You just can't sell 2 or 3 of your best players every season and expect to compete in the Premier League. That's just not gonna happen. Tottenham have 79 million transfer budget, just a little bit below Liverpool and quite a lot below Man City, Man United, Arsenal and Chelsea. So they have, out of the top 6, they have the lowest transfer budget, and that's realistic because in real life Tottenham signed absolutely nobody. So if you want, you can fix that and start Tottenham career mode and sign some players for them. They already have a really fun team with lots of young players who could develop. Dele Alli, you know, and other players. Harry Kane is still quite young in footballing terms. Watford have 42 million, and Watford keeps surprising and defying the odds every season. Every season they are tipped to either get relegated or only just stay up, and they always start the season on fire, and in the first half of the season they are always in the top 10, but in the second half they deteriorate. West Ham United, 54 million, so they have a similar transfer budget to Everton, and Leicester City, and I can understand why, because Tottenham spent quite a lot of money, close to £100 million in the summer transfer window, and they have a really fun team now. And I think this could be a really good challenge. West Ham could definitely challenge for the top 4 with some reinforcements, so it could be a fun career mode. And of course, Wolverhampton Wanderers, one of the surprises of the Championship last season. They signed so many good players, Portuguese players and Spanish players, and they have 56 million transfer budget, and they spent quite big as well, and they are doing really well. They recently won at West Ham, and they have beaten Burnley as well. So I expect Wolves to actually finish in the top half of the table, and it could be a really fun challenge to try and bring Wolves into the Champions League and maybe win the Premier League title in the next 3 seasons, because the owners of Wolverhampton want to see that. So yeah, let's go down to the Championship now, and let's scroll through the teams. I won't comment much on the Championship teams because I just wanted to show you the transfer budgets of each Championship team. So make sure to pause the video at any time if you want to see the exact transfer budgets and the board expectations for any of the Championship teams. And I want to do a Road to Glory career mode with the Championship team. Somebody like, for example, Derby County, who has 12 million, or maybe Hull City as well, because I think it would be a really awesome experience. Leeds United, it looks like that they could get promoted to the Premier League. Oh wow, Middlesbrough have 18 million transfer budget. Just to compare, Millwall only has 2.5, and if you compare the teams and how they are doing in the Championship, that's not that big of a difference. Nottingham Forest could be another very interesting career mode. There are some big differences in terms of transfer budgets in the Championship, but that's, I think, just like in real life, because in real life the Championship clubs are spending quite a lot. So Nottingham Forest, Leeds United, you know, Middlesbrough, there are some fun teams. Aston Villa, Sleeping Giants, Stoke City kept actually it's a 29 million transfer budget. Stoke City actually has a higher transfer budget than Brighton in the Premier League. Swansea City, one of my favorite, my second favorite team in the United Kingdom. It could be a fun career mode to try and bring Swansea City back to the Premier League and maybe compete for the top 4 and the title in the long term. West Brom also has quite a big transfer budget, 80 million, but Stoke City's transfer budget really stood out to me. Wigan Athletic, 3.5 million. So let's go through League One. Accrington Stanley, who are they? as the joke said. AFC Wimbledon could be a really awesome career mode challenge. You know the history with Wimbledon and MK Dons, and I'm following their results because their rise through football is quite remarkable. So as again in the League One, if you want to see any of the club's transfer budgets and board expectations, just pause the screen and at any time. And it's actually interesting that there are some clubs in League One who have transfer budgets similar to the Championship transfer budget, but I think if you try to do a classic Road to Glory, you really need to go down maybe to League 2 and you know, just select a club with the lowest transfer budget. Or what you could do as well is just to replace a team maybe in the Championship with a League 2 club, so it doesn't take you that long. And Sunderland actually has a higher transfer budget than about 50% of the Championship clubs. That's quite interesting. So if you really want to do a very like brutally hard career mode, what you could do is pick a League 2 club who has a very small transfer budget, but who has a nice kit and badge or a nice stadium. For example, Crawley Town could be a really big challenge, or Lincoln City, Forest Green, they just got promoted. I mean, Lincoln City has quite a decent transfer budget, and you could put them in the Championship or in League 1 if you don't want to grind through the divisions, because from League 2 it actually takes 4 seasons to get promoted to the Premier League, so it's quite tough Morecambe, the Shrimps, could also be a very big road to glory challenge. I used to do a Northampton career mode like 2 or 3 years ago on FIFA, which was a fun series. I remember that. So again, if you want to check out any of these clubs' transfer budgets or board expectations, Tranmere Rovers, they are, you know, in the Liverpool area. Tranmere, very close to Liverpool, so they are definitely a team that I'm keeping an eye on. And now let's go to Scotland and let's check out the Scottish transfer budget. And it's interesting to compare the Scottish transfer budgets to the English transfer budget. So Everton have the transfer budget of a championship team. Celtic have a pretty decent transfer budget, half of the lowest Premier League transfer budget. But for example, Dundee FC have a transfer budget of a League One club. Hamilton have a transfer budget of a League Two club. Hearts have a transfer budget of a Championship club. About Hibernian as well. Kilmarnock, Livingston, Motherwell. Rangers have 7 million. So I think Rangers, and I'm tempted to actually do maybe a Rangers career mode down the line, even though I prefer Celtic to Rangers, but I don't really have an out-and-out preference. I want to do maybe a Rangers career mode because Gerrard has been my boyhood hero. He's my favorite footballer and probably a role model for me, Steven Gerrard. And the fact that he's at Rangers and rebuilding Rangers, bringing their Liverpool loan players, could be a fun series to just bring a whole host of youngsters from Liverpool to Rangers and try to finally win a Scottish Premier League title ahead of Celtic. Let's see the Republic of Ireland transfer budget, or did they remove the league? No, they didn't. Okay, so the Republic of Ireland, wow, if you really want like a brutal road to glory, what you could do is take like Bray Wanderers, for example, who have a whopping 467,000 transfer budget and a half-star team, and you could put them maybe in League One or League Two and just try to work your way up the English ladder, because I think that could be a really fun series, a lot more fun than playing in the Republic of Ireland league. No offense to this league, but they don't have a lot of like exciting teams to play against. But imagine putting Bray Wanderers into League 2 and just try to get promoted to the Premier League and maybe win the Premier League title and win the Champions League in the long term. That could be a really long career mode, but you can do 15 seasons on FIFA 19, so I think it could be certainly a possibility. And that was all the English, Scottish and Irish teams, or the UK teams and Ireland teams transfer budget on FIFA 19 career mode. Let me know if you liked the video by leaving a like. Thanks for watching. See you later guys. Good night.